Greetings and welcome to In Depth. I'm Dike Rostant. We start off with a quote. Today is the first day of the rest of your life. You've got to start it right. Yesterday was dark for you, but now you see the light. Words of Heaven Snakey Charles, a party time winner along with Cupid and recently minted Diamond Jubilee Calypso Monarch. He joins us to share how Calypso tells his story.
Listen, our national instrument, the steel pan is legendary. The only acoustic instrument in the 20th century. Plus we have limbo and calypso, soca parade, chutney and extempo. Every creed and race finds an equal place. For God, that statement so true. We're so beautiful. We come this world and this universe too. We've made it to the final of the World Cup. What we say? Olympic gold. Here's the covered and Kishan World Cup. So don't stop. Just tell me what you need again to know your worth and your significance on planet Earth. Tell me what you need again. Red, white, and black. What? 60 runs on the board, and we're grandstand. And let me see your hand. What? 60 years and pumping. Yes, we climb a mountain. Oh, we hard keep pumping. Only Jaja know. Oh, 60 years and pumping. Carnival we jumping. When tight and low, we frowning. And we're to high and low. Brass! Hey! Island. Hey, hey, I know you want to give me love.
And we're really happy to have this conversation inside Calypso History Month because by Calypso our stories are told. But how are you doing, Mr. Charles?
I'm fine after God. Can't complain at all.
And I want to ask you though, from party time to now, what is going through your mind when you're standing there waiting on the results and then you hear is you at the top of the mountain?
Well, what went through my mind was, firstly, putting God first and letting God have his way in terms of writing the story. And the harder the battle, the sweeter the victory.
And the way how you talk about letting God ride the battle and looking at the harder the battle, the sweeter the victory. Now, there were some lines in terms of show them you're resilient, and I know you've been through a lot. And in this year, you've gone through some things. But I want to ask how much of that song is you singing to the audience, and how much of that song is you actually singing to yourself?
Well, actually, it's a combination of both, but more so for myself because, you know, as you said, our family has been through a lot from June the 1st last year to this present time. June the 1st being the day that my mom has left this land and passed on. That was 6 days before my birthday, and January the 13th, our home, our family home that we grew up in has been gutted with fire. So this competition, I actually asked God, I mean, this is one of the only time I can really remember doing this, ask God to help me to write a song that can resonate with the people and, you know, they can feel within their soul and melody, music, and God has seen me through straight to the end.
And it's one thing for people to in your circle to say, yeah boy, you have it. I hear it. You're dealing with it. But it's another thing to actually say, okay, well, the judges say, well, this is the result. And was what you're thinking about while you hear that result and then your family and people around actually literally lifting you up? Take us through some of those moments, thanks.
Well, what actually, after our performance, walking through the crowd, I was hearing a lot of people saying, "It's yours. You get two man. Hey, you mash them up." It's the normal talk, you know what I mean, where they hear, you know, from the, you know, people around. But actually, when they call from 10 to 7, and then they call up the last, the top three, which was Aaron Duncan, Corinne Asher, and myself. Every step of the way, like while it was going at real time, for me it was going like about 2 miles, you know, 2 miles hour, like slower than usual. So everything was amplified to me. But what happened when the announcer called on, like announced who came third, which was Corinne Asher, and they asked me to shake hands with Mr. Aaron Duncan. In that handshake, he looked at me and told me, "This is yours." I said, "Boy, what you saying, boy? You know?" I said, "I mean, it only done when it's done." And I said, "God is the boss." I mean, you know, we had that little chit-chat, and that felt like a whole conversation when it was just a couple of words that, you know, was real kind of, you know, meaningful at that time. Now, boy. So I only was sure when my name was called, and I humbly accepted, because whatever the decision would have been, because God is the boss, and we can't walk in front of God now, but God has the final say.
And with that, you feel a piece of validation because you're in the business a while. Like the first time I ever saw you on stage, I was toting water for artists and things. This was the Soca Storm school tour. And from them time to now. And who are some of the influencers, who are some of the people who literally tell you to hold on tight, don't let go in the industry, saying, "I see you, I see the value that you bring, I see what you bring to a stage, continue"?
Well, definitely Impulse, definitely Ronnie, Russell Kodugan, Winston Gypsy Peters, Mr. Kenny Phillip, you know, to name a few, Mr. Johnny King. You know, these are some of the people who, you know, they tell me no matter what, they say you have something. Even Mr. Austin Super Blue Lions, he was a man too, very influential, because, you know, to hear a man like Super Blue, Mr. Super Blue say, like, he saw me perform in a particular place, and he was like, "Man, you real good, boy." I said, "Boy, Super Blue telling me I go." You know what I mean? I mean, you know, so there are a lot of people who, you know, even this is Mr. Kenny J. He actually sat down and waited for me to finish a performance before leaving to go to another gig. And he told me, when I met him at the venue, he was like, "Is Snakey you perform yet?" I said, "No." He said, "Well, I'm waiting to see you perform, and then I go in." And you know, all these things is like coal in my engine, and kept me moving until this hour. And I thank God that he helped me to stand the test of time.
And we're thankful that you're able to do so as well. We take a short break. We return to Speaking with Heaven Snakey Charles. Stay with us. We come back with more. Welcome back. We are speaking with King Snakey Heaven Charles, the Diamond Jubilee Calypso Monarch. And Snakey, I want to know what goes into writing. Is it that you hear a song, a melody, and you say, "Yeah, man, I could deal with that"? Or you have an issue, you have a topic, and you want to write something, and music comes after?
Well, I would say writing is relative to an individual. For me, my first ever song that I sang in any competition was written by one of my cousins. Her name is Arlene Dyer, and since then I have been actually putting my problems through the pen. So writing music for me was more like whatever I was facing at the time, just writing my problems away, you know, or issue that you know really addle my mind. You know, writing for me was like that. But when it comes to writing pieces, sometimes our rhythm does influence you, because sometimes some people send me rhythms, and I write songs to suit the rhythm, or sometimes the divine, intervention from God. You just see something that you believe that people would relate to, and there is some of the different angles in which a writer this approach his pieces.
And I really like the fact that you talk about putting your problems to the pen or through the pen, because when there's people might think about, okay, well, Doty song or Blackie the black nose potong, but there's songs that to me surpass that in terms of like leaving you thinking. Open your eyes and realize that you would have done with Cupid, looking at Tuta Fani Nitiwa that you would have done recently, and it really feels as though there's a lot of messages that you try to share, you try to have people with words of hope and inspiration. So do you prefer one type or the other, or it's just a matter of, I feel like I'm going to write a song like this now?
Well, I must say hats off to complimenting God again here now, because God has placed us in such a diverse and beautiful country, which is Trinidad and Tobago. And complimenting him because there are so many different follicles of our culture that, a person can tap into. So far, I have dabbled in many of them, and I will continue to dabble in much of them because it is us, and it is our, this is our backbone. This is what makes us in Trinidad and Tobago. So Doty song was an expression for that time where, I went Orangefield Hindu School also. That was the primary school I went. And most of my siblings went there. And I'm from Karapichaima. So, we have a great East Indian influence also in that community. We live very, very, very loving and sweet together. And Christmas is a time I love, so I will, dabble in that because, that is, the birth of Christ, they will celebrate it. And also my name is Heaven, as we said. My house is in the Bakari, I live in the Bakari church too. So, I grew up around these things, and I'm glad that I can express myself through our music.
And you talk about partaking in different types of music and being able to appreciate it in its wholeness, but you also have different professional pursuits. So what goes into that level of dedication, that level of discipline? Because I think it was 1 day or 2 days after I was passing, I saw you, and I saw you in uniform. This is after the competition. You win your money, you win your crowd. But some people might have said, well, I taken a breeze off. Let them hold strain for a week or 2 weeks. But you were back out to work. What goes into that level of discipline?
Well, you see, I think is where it came from. We came from very humble beginnings, and when I say we, I'm talking about Kimba, your Baba, Medford, Anthony, the whole team, Enrico, Kevin. We are from First Choice Barber Shop in Shoguanas. There, I know about, I got up at one of my birthdays. I got a plate of food. You understand? For my birthday, and I embrace it with open arms now, and I understand now what I didn't at the time, because I was seeing that as weakness. But coming through the pandemic and up to this present time, I understand now that pressure forms diamonds. So when some people was like, all right, I think I heard about people committing suicide and all around that, unfortunately around the pandemic time, I was able to eat the same thing day after day without feeling away. And I was able to impart some of the things that I've experienced and some of the things that made me who I am presently to my children, and show them, what, it's nothing if we do have this. Let me do this. Let me do something else today. I know you all I had the experience that I could have imparted onto my children. So, I thank God for the humble beginnings, and that is what made me able to take a call right after the performance, and they called me king at the Diamond Jubilee Calypso Monarch, which I could have taken a call and say, all right, 7 o'clock in the morning, I come in and trim me up. You know what I mean? And plenty people is coming in the barber shop and like, but I just see on papers. I say, yeah, but I have a duty to perform. You know, that kind of way. And I enjoy what I do.
And you just called a lot of names, Enrico, Medford, Kevin, Kimber. How does it feel to have your family members, that support unit so close, literally lifting you up from the boat and after you when you hear the results, and even on stage the electric breakers? What does it mean to you to have these people so close?
Well, all I can say is just love. It's just love. You know, it is very important, and this is a nice time to bring this forward. It's very important to have that family support and that love. You know, sometimes, you know, I also, besides cutting here, we just be able to mentor a couple of youths or people who might be going through different things, and might pass through the barbershop. And with saying that, I want to say hats off to Mr. Reverend Skinner and Mr. Valley, because they even take this different level where they go to the prisons and talk to inmates and try to help them to reform their minds. So when they come back into society, they would have more to give and you know, desist from the past life they have lived. Having families so close to you is like being able to leave your pot open and your plate open and just walk out the road and come back, and you're sure no flying rest in it because your brother there to fund it. Electric breakers has always been a fixture in my musical, you know, performance, from Soca Monarch to Chutney Monarch to Young Kings. I always tap into them because they are very talented, and they too, you know, there's need that hey, you look at it, you keep on it, you know, that kind of energy, and they never disappoint. They always there for me, and it's actually my brother and two nephews, you know, I talk to you, Mr. Freeze, Twister, and Ghost, and, you know, the whole team, Venom, the whole team, love.
And in that last minute that we have, Snakey, Calypso History Month, Calypso History Month, what message do you have for the youths who are looking at you, hearing what it is you're saying, and listening to your story?
Calypso History Month, what I would like to tell the youths who are listening, especially the ones who are into the arts, Calypso music is Calypso music by Mr. Harry Belafonte was the first LP to have ever sold over 1 million copies worldwide. So understand that Calypso is the backbone, is the mother of all the music that we do. So we have to dance a yard before we dance abroad. I'm talking in you know, right now that in the dance hall and the this and the that. Dance home before you dance abroad. Understand your culture, learn about it, study it, and love up your country, love up your art. Long live Calypso.
According to Kimber, nice to bad. Thank you very much, Snakey. Blessings to you this day and forward. Definitely, and on behalf of the entire TTT News team, this has been In Depth with me, Dike Rostant. Thank you so much for joining us.
The only acoustic instrument in the 20th century. Plus we have